What's going on, guys? It's your boy Hammer back with another supplement review, and today I've got a pre-workout on the channel that is honestly different from anything else on the market. I say that kind of thing every once in a while, and usually I like to think it rings true. And this one is, I'm going to hold to it. This one has a formula that doesn't look like any other pre-workout on the market. It was trying to tackle a little bit of a different niche, offer something a little bit different. So is that different offering something you are going to be interested, something you are going to want to spend your hard-earned money on? Well, without further ado, I gotta lift, you gotta lift. Let's get down to business, because today we are talking about Apollon Nutrition Cyclone. All right, so Cyclone, what is this boy all about? Well, typically, Robic is the one who comes up with all the formulas over at Apollon Nutrition, known for some really high stim, intense pre-workouts. And then this one was designed by Dr. Marina, his other half, pharmacist, specialty in a lot of health supplements. She was the one who developed the Specialist product, which is something I recommend and almost make mandatory for all of my clients who use PEDs, because it's one of the best comprehensive health supplements on the market. And the idea behind this pre-workout is something that's more health focused forward in a pre-workout. Something that a lot of people think kind of like don't really go together. They think, oh, pre-workouts, that's like an unhealthy thing to be taken every day. But when we look into this formula, really breaks the mold and throws that on its head. So let's talk about this formula. Let's go over it, and then let's talk about use case, how your boy Hammer felt about it, and if it could be right for you. So we got one scoop coming in at 18 grams, 20 servings per container. We come right out the gate with 5 grams of purest creatine. So purest creatine is simply creatine monohydrate. However, it is recognized like a patented form that's very strict standards, so there's not any impurities in it. Creatine has obviously blown up and had like a resurgence over the last couple of years. So everyone's coming out a creatine product, which means there's a lot of low quality creatine on the market. Creatine is dirt cheap. Creatine monohydrate, dirt cheap, just get creatine. But then what we found was a lot of people were coming out with creatines that were very high in impurities. So purest creatine is still just monohydrate. However, it's going to be a very high quality one at that. And also, it is a micronized creatine, so it is going to mix very well within your formula. Creatine is great for power output, ATP production, also for some mental and cognitive drive. Obviously, it doesn't need to be taken in a pre-workout context. However, they did give you the full 5-gram dose, so this could replace your creatine supplement, or it could just be an additional dose. As someone like me who likes to get around 20 grams of creatine spread throughout the day, it's nice that they threw it in here, because I'm typically throwing in 5 grams in my pre-workout anyway. Then we have tyrosine at 5 grams as well. Tyrosine is a precursor to dopamine and norepinephrine, foundational nootropic building block. I'd love to see tyrosine in the formula, and at a hefty dose like 5 grams, it could really help fight fatigue. And, it's like I said, it's the precursor for a lot of neurotransmitter activity, so it is going to work in synergy with some of the other stuff we have in here. And it also could kind of make the caffeine and stimulants you have in a pre-workout work a little bit better and feel a little bit more effective. Then we have Betaine anhydrous at 2,500 milligrams. Betaine is great for power output, cellular hydration. It's just a good overall performance ingredient in a pre-workout. Also has some aspects of like methyl donation. So they give you the full clinical dose of Betaine. Then we got organic lion's mane at 1 1,000 milligrams. I really like lion's mane. I typically use lion's mane in some supplement somewhere in my day, almost every single day. It boosts brain-derived nootropic factor. It's going to be great for overall neuroplasticity and brain health over time. There's argument about how much of an acute effect it has. I do notice when I take lion's mane, I feel like it's hard to describe, almost like a better feeling of well-being and like confidence throughout the day. It kind of sounds strange, but that's kind of how I feel about lion's mane. It's not like a super focus, it's just like a better feeling of like well-being. Then we move on to CDP-Choline at 500 milligrams. So CDP-Choline, typically in a pre-workout sense, I prefer Alpha-GPC, but CDP-Choline is another choline donor to boost acetylcholine levels in the brain. It's also going to break down and convert to cytidine, which is going to convert to uridine, which is great for overall long-term brain health because that uridine is going to be very crucial in developing like the phospholipids of the brain. So this is going to be great for keeping brain health over time, which is going to be great for keeping sensitivity and response to stimulants over time. So again, something that's going to make the stimulant package a little bit more effective. But CDP-Choline overall is great for boosting your focus and your kind of cognition, waking you up a little bit. And that's how I really like to utilize CDP-Choline. Whereas Alpha-GPC, I do feel like more of a physical connection with it. But CDP-Choline really gets you focused, like dialed up to a level. Then we have PeakATP at 450 milligrams. PeakATP is a oral form of ATP. ATP is your form of energy, cellular energy for basically every function in the body. Now, as far as how much PeakATP is going to actually survive digestibility and provide ATP for like your muscle and power output, that's up for discussion. But it does seem to boost overall blood flow to the muscles and does seem to raise energy levels when studied. We have enXtra, another ingredient I really like at 300 milligrams. So this is one of those ingredients that we saw a lot in nootropic formulas for a while, and it's kind of started going away, and I don't know why, because I really like it. I actually have enXtra as a single ingredient pill that I will throw in with certain things. So enXtra is not a stimulant. It's a very interesting ingredient. It's something that, like, if you take it on its own, I don't really notice much. But with caffeine, it seems to really enhance kind of the effect of it. It's almost like it gives you like an energy and a focus and a productivity and like an anti-fatigue mentally for a good couple hours. And when you take it, like, it's almost like getting some of like the neural upregulation of another couple hundred milligrams of caffeine without getting any of like the the excessive heart rate, any of the physical negative side effects that could potentially come along with caffeine or other stimulants. Then we have natural caffeine at 200 milligrams. Caffeine, obviously your main stimulant. 200 milligrams is a pretty small dose, if we're being honest. 200 milligrams is about what you're looking at in an energy drink. But that being said, this product, when it comes to the stimulant side, was not about being jacked up and being stimulated. But I will say it is very well formulated, as well as far as ingredients that work synergistically and surround that caffeine to get the most out of it. enXtra with caffeine is going to make that caffeine go further. The tyrosine is going to make that caffeine go further. Realistically, the caffeine in here at 200 milligrams is just enough to make all these other things kind of come to life and see the benefit of them. And we'll get to that. We have MicroActive CoQ10 at 100 milligrams. So that's a more efficacious form of CoQ10, which is going to produce, upregulate mitochondrial production, specifically in cardiac tissue. So I love CoQ10 or ubiquinol. I supplement with it daily. I even do usually take a dose of ubiquinol before my training because it's going to upregulate the mitochondrial production in the heart. And I've found that it's one of those things that when you're deep in a training session, you might get like an extra 1 or 2 reps because your cardiac system is working slightly more efficiently. Then we have Senactiv at 100 milligrams. Senactiv, another ingredient that I really like, but with the caveat that it has to be around 100 milligrams or more. I try to take 1 to 200 milligrams of Senactiv a day, and it's one of those ingredients that's going to boost athletic performance, kind of reduce fatigue, and enhance overall recovery. So it's one of those things that, like, when I was prepping, upping my dose of Senactiv really helped with the overall recovery aspect of things. When you're feeling fatigued, it just seems to help you go a little bit further and mitigate some of that overall feeling. And then it's also shown to kind of have some effect like cleaning senescent cells, I believe. So it's overall good for like cellular restoration. And then we have estrogen at 50 milligrams, and that's just simply in there as an agent to help absorb everything in here. So how does this one come together in the real world? Well, first of all, strawberry lemonade flavor. I took this as soon as I got it, and the flavor was great. And the first day I used this after I was done training, and I kind of used it when I didn't have to train, but I used it as kind of like a afternoon pick-me-up nootropic. And it was great for that. And it's phenomenal for that. I've used it for that a couple times. And then I've used it for training once. I had to give it the real go for training. And so this gives you a great, like, this is, you know, if you normally, like, you have a afternoon lull and you reach for an energy drink, this is going to blow that away. The feeling of focus and the mental uplift and kind of like the drive and the feeling of positivity you get from this is freaking great. The energy is not crazy, like you'd expect. So to train on this, you gotta bring in your own gusto. If you are used to high stim pre-workouts and then you switch over to this, you might be let down in the form of that, expecting that energy aspect. But I took this obviously understanding what it was. And I will say the performance of this aspect of this feels great. So if you are well rested and you just need a bit of caffeine to get you into training, or if you usually train low stim or non-stim, this is going to be a great option because it's going to have you focus, it's going to have you locked in, it's going to have you feeling like very well recovered between sets, between, you know, the Betaine, the Senactiv. It's just like at the PeakATP, it feels like your performance is just optimized. Doesn't feel like you're on some crazy PEDs, doesn't feel like you're on some crazy stimulant stack where you could train harder and push these crazy reps, but it does feel like if you were going to go into training. I'm going to be honest, this is not going to be something I reach for like heavyweight training sessions, but for a freaking cardio session, or if I'm going to like wrestling training, getting in the ring where I just want a little bit of energy, but I want my system to be performing optimally, recovering optimally, well oxygenated, you know, my brain feeling good, my brain feeling fresh. This is a great option. And, you know, the whole idea here was realistically, this is a healthy supplement to be putting in your body. This is not a dose of caffeine that's going to carry any kind of negative burden to it. Even if you're sensitive to caffeine, that 200 milligrams is not going to be redlining you and having your heart racing. Like, everything in here is actually pretty healthy for you to be ingesting long term. Talking about CoQ10 and CDP-Choline and Tyrosine and lion's mane. These things are going to be great in an acute setting, but also for long-term brain health, for your system functioning. So this is a very cool product that I'm enjoying using more so for my cardio sessions, wrestling training, and for my overall productivity. So I'm using this in a nootropic setting. Like my favorite way to use this is to take this in the afternoon, start getting work done, get some chores done, head to the exercise room, get my 30 minutes on the bike, and then come back. And then I haven't taken so much caffeine. So I take this in the late afternoon and I can still get to sleep just fine. I don't get any kind of spike in heart rate, any kind of anxiety feeling, but I just feel great and I feel focused, and it helps me stay productive longer and later in the day. So this is a very interesting formula. They did send this one out to me, but this is literally the first product Apollon has ever sent to me. I've bought everything from them with my own money because I really believe in their products. I think they're freaking phenomenal. And this one was no different. However, the caveat is I like high stim pre-workouts. So is this the pre-workout I'm reaching for? Is this something that I want to use to train on for my heavy, intense days as a hardcore bodybuilder style trainer? No. But I do recognize the use case for this. I think a lot of people are very much going to enjoy this. And even myself, I do have a use case for this. And I've used this multiple times already, and I'm still going to enjoy using it multiple times. Now, that being said, if you, I haven't yet, but this could also easily be something that's stacked with other pre-workouts. So if you have other pre-workouts that are more stimulant based, and then you want to add a crazy nootropic and performance boost to them, you throw this in and you're most likely not getting any overlap, because this is such a unique formula that most formulas are not going to have all this stuff in there sub, the caffeine. So realistically, you boost a pre-workout with 200 milligrams of extra caffeine, but then you add all these nootropic layers to it and the performance layers with the Senactiv, and it could potentially become a very cool experience. I haven't experimented with it that way yet, but so far using it, I've really enjoyed it. But that being said, these are some of the ingredients that I really respond well to, specifically enXtra, lion's mane. I'm using those all the time, and Senactiv. I'm always looking for products with those ingredients. So seeing them all in one in this was very cool. So you're going to get good endurance on this, good focus on this, very positive mood on this. You're not going to get a high stim, high energy experience on this. But that being said, maybe this is something for, you want to do a pullback week, cut the stims a little bit, feel a little bit healthier, run this for a little while. I guarantee you're not going to take this and have a disappointing experience unless you're specifically looking for that stim experience. So that's kind of what I got. If that sounds right to you, you could go to NutriCartel.com with code HAMMER, of course, get yourself a discount. Big thanks to Apollon for sending this out, but my words are my own. I have no obligation to say anything I don't want to say, and I'm giving it to you straight. This is not the pre-workout for me to do my weight training on. I did one session on it. I didn't have a bad session by any means. The performance was very good, but I like being stimmed up. So usually I'm going to be reaching for something higher stim, but for many other use cases, more cardio-based training, more like athletic-based training, this is going to be a freaking godsend. And then as a nootropic or a pick-me-up, phenomenal product here. So that's kind of what I got. If you found the video helpful, please click like, click subscribe, click all the buttons, do all things. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Alex Hammerstone. I appreciate you guys watching. I will catch you on the next supplement review.